Welcome back. Today, on our journey through the Bible, we will learn about Jesus' Roman trial.
I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong. They are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so.
The Messiah. Our memory verse comes from Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. The death. The theme verse for this aspect of the Messiah's life comes from Isaiah 59, verse 12. But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. Trial. Roman. Now that the Jews declared Jesus guilty of blasphemy and worthy of death, they delivered him to the Roman judgment hall to be tried by the governor Pontius Pilate. The Jews did not enter the hall themselves because they did not want to be contaminated and thereby be prevented from partaking of the Passover meal. Jesus was brought to Pilate for their sentencing to be confirmed and carried out, because under Roman rulership they were not allowed to execute anyone. When Judas realized what he had done, and that Jesus was sentenced to death, the guilt overwhelmed him. He returned the 30 pieces of silver the chief priests and elders paid him for the betrayal. He said to them, I have sinned in that I have betrayed innocent blood. The Jewish leaders responded, What is that to us? See thou to that. At their disregard, Judas threw down the money in the temple and left. It was not legal to put blood money in the temple treasury. Therefore, the chief priests took the 30 pieces of silver and after discussion decided to buy the potter's field and use it for burying strangers. In his despair, Judas left the temple and hanged himself. The Jewish leaders came to Pilate requesting that Jesus be put to death. Because they were under Roman rulership, the Jews were not allowed to execute anyone under their own laws. So, Pilate heard their case. The Jews accused Jesus to Pilate of insurrection against Caesar by calling himself Christ the King. So, Pilate came to the judgment hall and examined Jesus. Pilate asked bluntly, Art thou the king of the Jews? Jesus answered, Sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it thee of me? Pilate then replied, Am I a Jew? Thine own nation and chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done? Then Jesus answered, My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence. So Pilate asked, Art thou a king then? To this Jesus responded, Thou sayest I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Every one that is of the truth heareth my voice. At this statement Pilate scoffed and said, What is truth? Walking out of the judgment hall before Jesus could reply. When Pilate left the judgment hall, he declared to the Jews, I find no fault in this man. This verdict angered the Jewish leaders, and they protested that Jesus was riling up the people all the way from Galilee to Jerusalem. When Pilate heard the mention of Galilee, he asked if that is where Jesus was from. As soon as he received confirmation that Jesus was Galilean and from Herod's jurisdiction, he quickly sent Jesus on to be judged by Herod, who was in Jerusalem at that time. Jesus' encounter with Herod was very different from that with Pilate, because he was the ruler that executed John the Baptist. Herod was very glad to see Jesus because he had heard a lot about Jesus' ministry and had hoped to see a miracle. Herod peppered Jesus with many questions, but Jesus uttered not one word in response. The Jewish leaders determinedly accused Jesus of all manner of evil, and he did not respond. So, Herod and his soldiers began to mock Jesus. They put a kingly robe on him and returned him to Pontius Pilate. Sentencing. When Jesus was brought back to Pilate, he called the Jewish leaders and all the people and told them that neither he nor Herod found any crime worthy of death in Jesus. Therefore, he said, he would have him beaten and released. Pilate knew that the only reason the Jewish leaders brought Jesus to him was because they envied him. While he was positioned at court, Pilate's wife sent a message to him warning him, "Have thou nothing to do with that just man." She had been warned in a dream about her husband's dealings with Jesus. During the Passover feast, it was tradition to have one prisoner of the people's choosing released. Pilate therefore suggested that Jesus be released. At the prodding of the Jewish leaders, the people rejected his suggestion and demanded that Barabbas be released. Barabbas was imprisoned for actually leading an insurrection and for murder. Then Pilate asked what they wanted him to do with Jesus, and the people yelled, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate was flabbergasted. 3 times he tried to get them to have Jesus released, because he found him to be an innocent man. However, the more he tried to convince them that Jesus was the better choice for release, the more incensed the crowd became. They yelled, "Away with this man, and release unto us Barabbas! Crucify him! Crucify him!" When Pilate realized that his judgment would not be accepted, he took water and washed his hands in front of all the people and said, "I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it." The people responded, "His blood be on us and on our children." With that, Pilate released Barabbas and scourged Jesus and handed him over to be crucified. The soldiers stripped Jesus of his clothes, put a royal robe on him, plaited a crown of thorns, and pressed it into his head. Then they put a reed in his hand and mockingly bowed to him, saying, "All hail, King of the Jews!" They spit on him and took the reed and hit him. Pilate once more presented Jesus to the crowd, saying, "Behold the man!" The people reiterated their desire, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate then said to them, "Take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him." The crowd responded that according to their law, he should die because he made himself the Son of God. This statement put fear in Pilate. He then brought Jesus back into the judgment hall and asked him, "Whence art thou?" But Jesus did not answer him. Then Pilate said, "Speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not that I have power to crucify thee and have power to release thee?" To this Jesus responded, saying, "Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Therefore, he that delivered me unto thee hath the greater sin." The soldiers then put his own clothes back on him and took him to be crucified. Now it's time for our activity. First question. What question did Pilate not wait for Jesus to answer? That's correct. What is truth? He had truth in front of him. Next question. Did Jesus say anything to Herod? No, he did not, because Herod had executed John the Baptist, the greatest of the prophets. Last question. What did the crowd say should be done to Jesus? Correct. They all yelled to crucify him. Now write or say the memory and theme verses from memory.
Yes, Jesus loves
Next time,
me.
we'll read about Jesus'
Yes,
crucifixion and
Jesus
burial.
loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me, for the Bible tells me so.